Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, crypto nerds of all ages, you know who I am. I'm the @real Monty Allen, and I am your crypto nerd. And stay tuned because we are talking to Algogard. Welcome to the Crypto Nerd channel. Riley and David from Algogard. It is a pleasure, let me say, to have you both here. I'm so lucky to have you on the channel this evening, giving the community an update about Algogard. And before we kind of jump into things here, I'm hoping you could just give each of you just a quick introduction about who you are, what you do for Algogard, and kind of just who you are right now.
Hey, thanks for having us. We've followed your channel now. As long as we've been in the Algorand community, we've come to you for updates. And so, to introduce myself, I'm Riley. I'm the CEO of Gard, and I was, the person who really had the vision at first. I'll let David talk about himself, though.
Yes, I'm David. I'm the technical lead at Gard, and I'm in charge of smart contract development and our development of our web application.
Fantastic. Right, so front of the house, back of the house. Now I said Algogard, but you go by Gard only, is that right?
Yeah, so we go by Gard. The Algogard is just to pay homage to Algorand, right? But
Right.
yeah, definitely Gard is the way we go.
Excellent. Okay, so speaking of Gard, what makes Gard just a little bit different? Talk to us about your project just a little bit.
Sure. Well, there's about 1 million stablecoins out there right now, right? And I think, part of that is because of the demand for stablecoins, but part of it also is because there's really a lack of direction. There's not been a clear winner yet. We were inspired by projects like MakerDAO, Terra Luna, Faye even, and what we learned from them, we really distilled, and we saw an opportunity to bring all of their benefits to Algorand and incorporate a whole new host of other features and make a much better project. And that's really the kind of thing that we're hoping people will use that aren't crypto native, but there's just such a strong value proposition.
Excellent. I like that you say that people that aren't crypto native, bringing in that new audience, I think is really vital to the overall growth of the ecosystem. And that's definitely different. A lot of folks who are building a stablecoin are targeted towards the community members already. And so it becomes like this echo chamber here. So I like that you want to bring in some new folks there. So you are primarily it's a stable coin. There are a couple different types of stable coins though. David, do you want to talk to us about how an algorithmic I can't even say it correctly. Algorithmic stable coin. Did I say that correctly?
Stablecoin, yes.
Okay.
So Gard is an algorithmic stablecoin in that it maintains its peg to the US dollar through a set of rules and through arbitrage. That is, if someone is either trying to sell you something like a token of Gard at $1.02 or 98 cents, then that leaves an opportunity for somebody to make arbitrage, to make profit, just by the difference between the price and the peg. And the thing that makes our system special is that in order to mint new Gard tokens, one must put collateral into a smart contract, and then the smart contract uses that collateral through Algorand governance. So in this way, somebody is both having their collateral and their algos used in the governance system at the same time that they're able to mint some of these stable tokens.
So it's kind of like double dipping in a sense.
Correct.
Right.
You're able to draw a lot of credit.
Right, and
Okay.
what's important for us is we wanted to make this accessible to everyone, whether or not you've been in Algorand or crypto in general for years and years, or you're brand new. Something that's been a big barrier to entry for individuals in the algorithmic stablecoin ecosystem, in Ethereum, other blockchains as well, is there's really high fees, right? And so if you bought any crypto and you've seen hundreds, thousands of percentages of increase, then if you want to borrow against it, the value proposition is clear. But conversely, if you're someone who's brand new and you just want to get into DeFi, the barrier to entry is incredibly high. With Guard, actually, we pay our users interest, right? And so the fees are going to end up being net zero to people who participate in governance through Guard and hold their positions open for longer periods of time.
Great. Now I saw somewhere the spread there was pretty wide as far as what interest somebody might be able to earn. I suppose it's probably tough to predict what that will be, but can you walk us through that process? Like how is that going to be determined?
Sure.
I might be able to take this a little bit better, Riley. Yeah, so the interest that people are getting paid is dependent on the rewards pool that's distributed to Algorand governors. So this means that each quarter, I believe in governance period 1, it was 60 million algos. And then in this current period for first quarter of 2022, it's going to be 70.5 million algos. Those are equally distributed to all valid governors. So that is governors that participate in every single vote during the period. So in our system, they would get paid the same amount as if they were a normal governor. They would just have the added benefit of having these tokens in addition to that. So the first period at APY was about 16%, I believe, maybe 14. In this period, we're seeing something slightly lower because there's more participation, which is actually a good thing. Yeah. Yes. But I think right now it's sitting at 8% APY, and we still have about 15 more hours until the governance registration window closes.
Yeah. So as of recording, I think it was over, what was like 40% of the total available algo was actually staked already, which was phenomenal. Okay, great. Now, you are kind enough to send me a graphic ahead of time. I'm going to share this, maybe, David, and I'm hoping that you can share for the audience, kind of walk us through what we're looking at here. And I love the color graphics here because I'm a visual person. I need to see the color sometimes. So what are we looking at here? Can you walk us through what we're seeing?
Yeah, so this is just kind of the basic steps in the life cycle of one of our users. So at for number one, we kind of have the guard and the collateral arrows. So what's happening is the user is sending their collateral to a smart contract, and then via atomic swap at the same time, they're minting guard from the reserve. So they're taking out stable coins while transferring their algos into a smart contract. So then we get to step 2. The smart contract is able to vote in governance, and at the end of each quarter, as a reward for participating in governance as a governor, they're able to get interest from the system. And then in this way, the algo balance of the smart contract increases. At any point, if the user wants, they're actually able to get their collateral back from the system. Yes, they will forfeit their governance rewards, but in this way, if they pay back their guard to the reserve, they can get their collateral back. So that collateral is always theirs to claim. The one exception being if the value of the collateral drops too low, the collateral is sold for guard via Dutch auction. The reason that the collateral is auctioned off is because we need to make sure that there's always enough collateral locked up to correspond to the guard tokens that are out there in the market. So by selling it off, we're able to buy up guard off the market and then put it back into the reserve. So that's kind of the number.
Now, when we say collateral here, I mean we're talking about Algorand, right? So if the Algorand price drops significantly, that might cause some kind of a liquidation.
Yes, that's right. Okay. So when the price of the algos, although we do plan to use in the future other cryptos as collateral, right now we're sticking with just algos. When the algo price drops, there is a chance of liquidation. And the way that we protect against this is that we make it so that when people open a position, they have to meet a certain ratio of collateral to the guard that they're taking out. And that's significantly higher than the ratio which they get liquidated. Furthermore, people can choose their own risk preference. So the less guard that people choose to mint, the safer their collateral will be.
Got it. I like that you give people the choice there. That seems like a very responsible thing to do. I like fiscally responsible options and choices, and let's give people some paternal nudges to like move in the right direction there. So I like that. Okay, and then you've got kind of this flywheel thing going on over here, where it seems like okay, then they've got after they are done with the governance turn, then they've got presumably more algo than they had originally. Plus, they've also been using their guard in the meantime as well, which in turn would enable them to invest more. They have more collateral, so the next quarter around they can improve that process. I suppose there might be some skimming along the way if somebody might take a little bit of a profit, I guess, at that point, or reinvest it elsewhere. But you're helping the community grow by doing this.
Exactly. Yeah. So a big thing that we're trying to do is to increase the demand for algo in general. And one way that sort of plays out is that people can take the guard that they've gotten from the reserve and they can go out into the market and buy more algo. And then they can put it back into their smart contract. And so for people that want to be pretty leveraged, this is a way for them to buy more algo and really put it into their contracts, so that they can just get more and more algo and more utility.
Got it. Now, if I wanted to, so there's a 7-day window of staking, right, for at the beginning of the governance period. So if I wanted to, I could put in 1,000 algo, take out, I don't know what percentage, let's say 600 guard or whatever the equivalent is there, 60% or something. Is that a fair assessment? Okay. And then in theory, I could take the guard on an exchange or swap it out for more algo and run the cycle again.
That's right. Yeah, you could deposit that $600 worth of algo that you bought on the market right back into your position, and then now you'd have more algo in your position, so you'd be able to take even more guard.
Right. So I'd be able to take 330 more algo out again, and kind of rotate it around again, and then get 170 or something, and then I could really
exactly. You could leverage up.
Not that I'm recommending that to anybody, but they could, I guess, in theory. And some of us who are more aggressive, may take that course of action.
That's right. Yeah. Yes.
I for one, I always recommend people, of course, do your own research. You got to give the obligatory deal, but not financial advice, those kinds of things. But in a case like this, where we are depositing Algorand and it's locked up literally for 90 days, the liquidity goes down. So if there's some demand at some point in time, it makes sense to me personally that the price of Algorand is likely to go up because so much of it is locked up in governance. And think about it now, without something really like this, we're already at 40+% of the available algos on the market already staked in governance. I mean, if we got that up to like 70 or 75%, like look out, because you could see some drastic changes there pretty quickly.
Right. I mean, the whole part of our system is that we want to increase participation, right? I mean, there's so many people that they don't have a big stack, right? And so enabling them to come in, participate in governance, which is so important, right? Getting your voice heard, and then also being able to go out and still spend your money, right? That's what it's all about, right? If you want to leverage up, great. If you want to be conservative, that's also fantastic, right? It gives people a lot more flexibility with their capital, right? It's, if there's people who have a tremendously big stack, right? Then they can obviously participate in governance, not worry about it. But what we've actually created is a system which everyone can participate. And we've also, along the way, kind of solved for little problems that people have experienced. I know there's countless people, literally thousands of people, who have dipped below their balance by mistake, just by mistake, right? They wanted to make a transaction, whether it was on TinyMan, or they wanted to buy an NFT. Or
buying an NFT, that was me.
Oh, okay. Yep. Exactly. So, things happen. And so although the liquidity that you're putting in, right, if you need those algos at any given point, you can totally close out the position. However, because they're going to be in a separate smart contract now, right, a separate account with that smart contract on top of it, it's going to give an extra layer of protection as well. People are going to be able to hold on to those positions longer. And so, yeah, I mean, everything you've talked about, positive feedback loop to put more, potentially more demand into Algorand. I think the idea that there's literally loans that pay you now thanks to Algorand, thanks to Gard. I think that's going to bring people from other chains on board, because the risk tolerance is one thing, but we're not using collateral that doesn't exist, right? We're using intrinsically valuable collateral, right? We're using algos. We're not making our own type of collateral, right? We're backing it up in such a way that I think the value proposition is going to be a lot clearer than a lot of other DeFi projects, perhaps on other chains or even Algorand.
Excellent. So, Riley, you and I were talking, kind of before we went live here today, just a little bit about your journey and where it takes to get from here to there. And everybody, they see these projects and they just assume like you hit success overnight. Now all of a sudden you're on everybody's YouTube channels and you got 1,500 Twitter followers. It doesn't happen overnight, and you've definitely had a journey to go through. Everybody does, but being where you are right now, if somebody is out there watching, in YouTube land, and they wanted to get into the Algorand ecosystem, or fundraise, or they've got a project, any advice that you would give based on your experience that you and David and the others have gone through so far, looking back?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think the biggest thing is having general things that you want to accomplish, and then having a good team, right? It's all about the people at the end of the day. Something that we learned along the way is that an idea, there's no such thing as $1 million idea, right? An idea can only take you so far. And, most smart people, they realize, that one idea they had that got the team together, that was kind of the genesis, or that starting factor, the spark of the journey. It fizzles out, right? You do your research, you learn more, and it's no longer a good idea, or it's not possible, or the timing's not right. And so when you're looking for help outside, whether it's the community, which the Algorand community is so great, whether it's in the form of investment, they want to see the team, right? And so the biggest thing I did was, I had this idea. I wanted to have microtransactions, right? I wanted to have them incredibly cost effectively in real time, and I knew that would help a lot of people, all over the world. And so that's what brought me to Algorand, right? And once I got to Algorand, I realized that there wasn't actually a good stable currency to do that with, and so that's how we got to the whole idea that we wanted to create it, right? But really early in the journey, leveraging my network, I found David. We both went to school together, actually, and I found lots of other people along the way as well. But I think leveraging your network and finding people that share that mentality is what's most important, right? Building the team, being with people that you enjoy spending time with, and you can really just hunker down and just talk with. I think that's what's so important, right? Because you're gonna spend so much time with them, and the years are gonna fly, and it's gonna just, you're gonna look back and you're gonna be like, wow, these people who maybe I knew them before, maybe a team, it's different, becoming some of your closest friends, and so you definitely want to make sure you that you pick the right people.
Choose wisely, right?
Yes.
I think it's amazing. Just asking, reaching out, your extended network. I find that there's a lot of folks who are cautious because they don't want to fail. They don't want to put themselves out there and say, "Hey, I'm interested in doing this," and then other people know when they watch you, and you have that fear of failure. But there's also this other thing, the flip side of that, where other people want to see you succeed, and they want to jump on board with you and help out with that project, and that's really when the magic starts to happen, when you can overcome that fear of failure, or letting other people know that you're doing something that's just a little outside of the norm. So I applaud you both for putting yourselves out there, and for starting something new from scratch, something that hasn't been done before. So that takes guts, and it's a good thing. We're lucky to have you. Now that's your journey. Are there any other projects that the two of you even have time to watch or look out for in the Algorand ecosystem? I mean, or are you just, you got blinders on and you're just working on Gard 24 hours a day and no sleep?
No, I think absolutely. We love the community. I know David's really close to the developers in a number of different projects, so we can speak to them. But I think projects that we're all excited about, and just seeing the continued journey as they're supported by the community, or all the DEXs coming together. Tiny Man's had a lot of attention recently, and they've been kind of carrying the torch for so long. But there's a couple great new projects coming on board. that I'll leave everybody else to do their research, right? Because I don't want to single anyone out. Algorand is great. We spent time designing some oracles of our own. David has done some really great work, and so learning from them about how they wanted to bring the price data on Algorand, that was one of our pain points back at the beginning of the project. It's been really, really cool. Prismatic, we know the founder of Prismatic. We really like that, what she's doing. And there's just countless other projects, right? XBack, talk to Austin all the time, and going over similar projects and problems we've run into, and where we want to go next. So there's lots of really great projects going on, and I think there's to be even more coming soon. I think everybody else in our accelerator program as well, right? We're in the Algorand Miami Accelerator. So that's with Borderless, and
I'll name drop Alchemon. Alchemon is a good project. They're like
Neoman's really cool.
I like that one.
There's so many great projects, right? And so we definitely have our head down, but in order to do good work, we have to not only know projects on Algorand but beyond, and make sure that we do our research and learn from their mistakes, but also their successes, right? So yeah, there's definitely lots of really great stuff out there, and we just hope that we can kind of lead the charge for the next generation of projects, right? If we make the best decentralized money, or at least some great decentralized money for Algorand, hopefully it inspires those next generation of entrepreneurs and developers and creators to keep building and bringing more tools and technology to Algorand.
I love it. Okay, so what's next for you? How do we keep in contact with you? Where do we follow you? Socials, those kinds of things. What's next?
David, what's next?
We're launching in March.
All right.
So yeah, we're launching in about 2 months. We're really excited about that. David's done a really great job building basically the whole platform from the ground up. So we're gonna have testnet coming out in about a month. So we're thinking about launching both the front end with the testnet for people to interact with around Valentine's Day. So definitely join our Telegram, follow us on Twitter, join our Discord. We're really hoping to just keep having the updates come quicker and quicker. We were kind of in stealth for a while, but now we're kind of showing all of our cards. We want to make sure everybody has all the information they need about us to get familiar with the system, get comfortable with it, and hopefully there's no glaring issues, but if there are, we want to make sure that the community help us out find those as well before we launch, because the biggest thing for us is to help everyone, and we want to make sure we make a positive impact.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so just check out our website. It's got links to everything. It's just algogard.com.
I'll post all that in the description here for us. So both of you, I've got to thank you again for spending some time with me, for answering questions so eloquently. David, for walking us through that infographic there. And I'm a simple guy, so I appreciate the pictures and very simple, like, okay, here's what you do, here's where you go, repeat. and that hit home for me. So I'll be watching this with bated breath. Looking forward to Valentine's Day, some activities. I'll have to have both of you back on again. We can talk about how that initial testing phase is going, and then March. Good times. All right.
Absolutely. It's been
Thanks
great.
a lot, everyone.
Yeah, thanks for having us.